What's going on, people? You have read that title. I would like to welcome you, people, to the Umbrella Corporation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is the Umbrella Robster 97 here, and yes, I am the leader of the Umbrella Corporation. And in this channel, you will find all kinds of Resident Evil content. That includes the video games, the music, the TV shows, and even the movies. And for those who are asking, sorry about that, folks. I just lost my train of thought. But, anyways, what I was trying to say is the owner of Resident Evil is none other than Capcom, one of my favorite video game companies of all time. So, yeah, that's one thing I want to say about Capcom. It's my favorite video game company of all time. Not to mention, Resident Evil is the highest grossing horror franchise of all time. And not to mention, it consists of survival horror and first person. So, yes, that's one thing I want to say. Oh, and not to mention over the shoulder. There is nothing wrong with over the shoulder and even first person as long it is done right within the Resident Evil franchise. So, yeah, that's one thing I want to say right here, right now. And this is one thing that I have noticed when Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was released back in 2017, it finally went back to survival horror, especially the downfall of Resident Evil 6. Now, do I necessarily hate Resident Evil 6? Absolutely not. Do I think it is a bad game like these people are saying? No, I do not. Do I think that Resident Evil 6 is average at best? Yes, I do. The biggest criticism of Resident Evil 6 is the lack of horror. And to be honest, I actually agree because if there is no horror, then it doesn't count as Resident Evil 6. This is one thing I want to point out right here, right now. So I have noticed that Capcom has released four Resident Evil remakes. That includes, wait, give me a second. I think I kind of got this one wrong. All right, then. So I just looked this up just now. Okay, so this is what I just searched. Okay, Capcom has released three Resident Evil remakes. That includes Resident Evil 2, 2019, Resident Evil 3, 2020, and not to mention Resident Evil 4, 2023, which came last year. Now, here is my honest opinion. I can actually agree with these people that Resident Evil 2, the remake, it was a great game, but to be honest, I haven't played it whatsoever, but I am hoping I can play that remake one day. So, yes, that is one thing I want to point out right here, right now. And not to mention the main protagonist. Well, as a matter of fact, there are two main protagonists in Resident Evil 2 Remake. That includes Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Now, when it comes to Resident Evil 3 Remake, I think that the main protagonist is Jill Valentine. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to Resident Evil 4 Remake, you better believe it, Leon S. Kennedy has returned. And pretty much, I believe he is the only main protagonist within that game. I mean, granted, Ada Wong is there, but I don't think she counts as a main protagonist. I think I see Ada Wong some sort of anti-hero, if that makes any sense. So I don't think Ada Wong is a good guy or a bad guy. I think she's sorry about that, folks. I don't know what just happened. But, anyways, what I was trying to say is more or less, Ada Wong is, yes, she is an anti hero. That is the word that I am looking for, anti hero. So, yeah, one thing I want to say right here, right now, is when it comes to these three remakes, I don't necessarily hate Resident Evil 3, but I can see why that game has some problems. So, much like Resident Evil 6, there is too much action, but not enough horror. So, here's what I think, in my honest opinion. I feel that Resident Evil itself needs to be balanced, you know, between over the shoulder, first person, and not to mention survival horror and even action horror. If there is too much action, in my own personal honest opinion, it doesn't count as Resident Evil. I remember back then, the franchise itself, it used to have camera angles, which, by the way, I can see it being a pain for a lot of players back then. But thankfully, the Resident Evil franchise itself, at least it's improving the way I see it. So, yes, that is one thing I also want to say right here, right now. So, let's just hope that the franchise can continue to be a success. And some people even claim that Resident Evil 6 was going to be the very last game. But thankfully, when Resident Evil 7 Biohazard came out, the franchise is backed. Yes, it is back. So that is one thing that I love. I mean, granted, I haven't played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, so I'm hoping to play that game one day. One thing I want to say right here, right now, is when it comes to the live action movies, I think they're average at best, especially the first one. But my main problem with the live action movies is it doesn't have any horror at all, and it relies too much on action. And even the music itself, it did not fit well within the Resident Evil live action movies. I feel, in my honest opinion, it needs to include horror music. And yes, I also noticed that some, I'm not going to say all, but some of the Resident Evil live action movies, they are either average at best or they're extremely bad to watch. But all I can say right now is if they are going to make more live action movies, they better do it the right way. Because as a Resident Evil fan myself, it needs to have horror music. I mean, I can't predict the future, but let's just hope that the franchise can be better. And I even heard a rumor that Capcom themselves might consider doing a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica, which, by the way, if that is the case, then let's just hope that Capcom can make it better. So, yes. And I believe this counts as a spin-off, both the Umbrella Chronicles and the Darkside Chronicles, and not to mention Revelations 1 and Revelations 2, which, by the way, in my personal honest opinion, I don't think those video games count as the main series, but more or less a spin-off series. So that is great to explore. Not only the main series, but also the spin-off series as well. But other than that, let's just hope that the franchise itself will be a great success and one of the greatest horror franchises of all time when it comes to video game wise. So, yeah, that is one thing I also want to point out right here, right now. And I even heard that certain Resident Evil games are bad, like Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Like, I don't hate that game, but I feel like that game it was unnecessary. And not to mention Umbrella Corps, which, by the way, that game is not even Resident Evil itself. It felt like a Call of Duty ripoff or something. And I apologize if I had to mention Call of Duty, so my apologies. I shouldn't be getting into Call of Duty due to the fact that it's from a different company and a different genre, of course. So let's just hope that we can see more of the video games to be better and not worse. So yeah, but other than that, I don't know what do I have to say. Well, what I meant to say was sorry about that, people. I just lost my train of thought. But anyways, what I was trying to say is I think that is all I have to say when it comes to the Resident Evil franchise. Oh yes, this is one thing I also want to address. So I have heard rumors that there will be certain remakes. So this is what I gather so far. So I heard that both Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 might get a remake, like its predecessors, if I got that word correctly. One thing I want to say right here, right now, is if both Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 will have a remake, then let's just hope that these games will not be watered down. One thing I also want to say right here, right now, is when it comes to the music itself, the music is definitely great. So let's just hope that the music will be better for the future. So yeah, that is one thing I want to point out right here, right now. Okay, I think that is all I have to say when it comes to the Resident Evil franchise. So, yeah, there is one thing I want to address right here, right now. So, right now, I am looking for at least 5 members. I would include 9 members, but I can't due to StreamYard pricing, if that makes any sense. So, all I need is to find a co-leader and 4 members. And I think I know who should be my co-leader, but I'm not going to say his name because I want it to be a surprise. Nevertheless, so for those who are interested, yes, for those who are interested for this group channel, you need to contact me on social media, that being Facebook or Discord. I might consider I might consider, you know, making a Instagram account, but I'll think about it. I don't know too much about Instagram, but I'll think about it if I do want to make an Instagram account. But for the time being, if you want to join this group channel, you need to contact me on both Facebook and Discord. And not to mention, you need to be a committed member of the Umbrella Corporation. And not to mention, you must be a Resident Evil fan. So, yeah. And I have to be sure if you're a committed member of the Umbrella Corporation, and not to mention even a fan for this group channel that I created. So, like I said just now, people, if you want to join this group channel, you must contact me on Facebook or Discord, and we can talk business from there. So, yep. I think sorry about that, people. I just lost my train of thought. I don't know why I did that. But, anyways, I think that's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to the Resident Evil franchise, and not to mention for those who are interested to be a part of this group channel. But, other than that, let's just hope that this franchise will continue strong and hopefully it will not fall apart or fell apart, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I think I got everything that I needed. So let's just hope that we can have a fresh start for this new year. And yeah, so one thing I want to say right here, right now is sorry about that, folks. I don't know why I lost my train of thought, but okay, so this is one thing I do want to address. Now, there have been people that have told me to make this group a lot better, which, by the way, that is going to happen. So, yeah, let's just hope that this group of mine will be a success. And like I said before, for those who are interested, contact me on both Facebook or Discord if you want to be a part of the Umbrella Corporation. Okay, this is one thing I want to address right here, right now. The Umbrella Corporation will be a subset to this certain community, which, by the way, I'm not going to say their name, but I might address it. Yes, what I meant to say is I might address this topic another time. So let's just hope that this group of mine will be a success and to have fun with the Resident Evil video games, the music, the TV shows, and even the music. So that is one thing I definitely want to address right here, right now. But other than that, I think I pretty much, sorry about that, folks. Again, I don't know why that happened. But anyway, what I was trying to say is I think that's pretty much it. So all I can say right now, people, is welcome to the Umbrella Corporation. And like I said before, for those who are interested for this group channel, you have to contact me. Yes, you have to contact me on both Facebook and Discord. So, yeah. Another thing I want to say right here, right now, is this. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know why that had to happen again. Okay, so this is one thing I want to say right here, right now. So I'm not quite sure if Capcom is going to release. Okay, so this is what I was trying to say. I'm not quite sure if Capcom is going to release any new Resident Evil content this year, but let's just hope. If not, there is a possibility they might do it next year. So yeah, I think most likely I'm going to end this off. I don't think there is much more to say when it comes to my new group, the Umbrella Corporation. So yeah, all I can really say right now is let's just hope that the franchise will continue to be a success, and not to mention this group channel of mine. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the last thing I have to say. So I'm pretty much going to end this off right here. So thank you so much for watching this live stream. Give this live stream a thumbs up, and I will see you in the Umbrella Corporation group channel. Bye, everyone.